Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of CGTN podcast. I'm your host, Xiang. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is coming to its final station, and with world ranking number 1 to number 4 getting into the semifinals. So we are going to dive into what we are so calling the AI World Cup, the first ever AI World Cup, with artificial intelligence deeply injected, deeply embedded across every corner through the event, so both on court and off court. So today, joining us first is my colleague Ankit Prasad. Ankit, so you are from India, right?
Right.
So it's kind of embarrassing that China and India, two biggest nation, has the biggest population around the world, didn't get qualified into the World Cup for a long time. But our nation, our people do have the passion towards sports, towards football, right? So how's it going? Have you ever enjoying the World Cup this time?
Well, thank you, Xiang, and very welcome to all our viewers also. Well, I knew you'd ask me this question, and it's remarkable actually that 2.8 billion people and we still not managed to find 11 who will qualify for the World Cup. But you're absolutely right. The passion is bursting at the seams, if you ask me. And that's the great thing about football. Your national loyalties come into it every 2 years, 4 years, but the rest of the time you can play football, you can watch club football. And I'm also quite pleased at the fact that I'm hearing right noises, like the FIFA president. Already this World Cup has been the biggest ever, 48 teams. He's talking about how the next World Cup, which will be the centenary edition, there may be 64 teams.
64 teams,
and,
yeah.
you know, if there's one thing, this is my 9th World Cup that I'm following. And sometimes, you know, you don't need all the structure, you don't need all the facilities. What you really need is passion. And this time we have seen Cabo Verde, we have seen Curacao, small countries, new entrants into the football sphere. They've done so well. Some of the countries that have been there for some time, Egypt has done so well. All the hosts did really well, you know, United States, Canada, Mexico, they did quite well. So sometimes you just need a chance.
Yeah.
And my feeling is if, you know, India, China, at some point if they can make it, or if they can get to host it, or the tournament just becomes so big that all countries get to play a part, then you just light that fire and then that's all you need. Then the passion will do all the rest of the work. And once it begins, then you really can't stop it.
Yeah, we can totally saw the reaction from their nations, right? So, okay, so today we also have two distinguished guests. One is on my left side, Eileen Zhang. She's the Director of Technical Strategy and Innovation of the Solutions and Services Group from Lenovo. Lenovo is also the official technical partner of this year's FIFA World Cup, right? Okay, so welcome, Eileen. Another is joining us online is Chris Van Puyvelde, Technical Director of the Chinese Football Association. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you and nice to be a part of it.
Okay, so before things going on, to kick things off, I'd like you guys to have a brief introduction of yourself. What's your current role and what's your current daily job? Like, Eileen, could you go first?
Sure, no problem. So, you know, it's because I have been working in Lenovo for many years, so I have our lead team delivered a lot of projects, and especially in the recent years for AI projects. But this year is very special for me, and we joined the World Cup 2026. So, it's, I think, a great opportunities for all of Lenovo staffs. We can engage and deeply dedicated for this World Cup with AI technology empowered all the World Cup, all the sports technologies. So that's our role. And actually, I just came back from a World Cup, and because this year and my team is delivered the 3D digital avatar projects. So that's really integrated with the SAOT, semi-automation offsite technology system together, delivered a tremendous different, I think, upgrade feeling for both referees and all the audience, all the fans, for this time for the World Cup when they, watch every game, every match during the World Cup period. So it's really a fun, amazing journey for us, amazing experience for us.
And we'd like to hear more from you later. So, Chris, could you briefly introduce yourself, please?
I will do it very briefly because otherwise we will sit here for about 20 minutes. I'm a football animal. My passion is football. I'm working now more than 30 years in professional football, and I've been working 10, 15 years in amateur football. I've been the technical director of Belgium 2018, where we were third in the World Cup. Then I moved to China for 4 years, and then I went to Morocco for 3 years. So there we also did a very good result. And now they asked me back in China to guide them into the world of football, I would say, because we need a lot inside China. We need structure, we need other things. But I'm a long time in football. I did almost everything in football. I've been working in 3 different continents, but I wanted to come back to China because I feel that we together we can do something in China and hope that we can play within 4 years the World Cup in Morocco, because there I've been living 3 years with my family. So I have strong relations with China, but as I told you, I've been everywhere in the world for football because that's my passion.
Haixiang, every country that Chris named that he has worked at did very well at this World Cup. Every country he named, I was counting, has reached the quarterfinals. So I hope, Chris, that you are the good luck charm that helps countries really make it in the game.
Yes, I also spoke with people from India. I could go to 5 different countries about 6 months ago, but I don't say the names because that's not so important. But I chose China because I was here, and at a certain moment, you feel that you have to do something, and I have a very strong relation with FIFA. And also FIFA supported me to say, okay, go back to China, help them. And we are here to help. We are not here for ourselves. We are here to work together with the Chinese people.
All right, so how about let's dive straight into our main focus, which is innovation. Like you mentioned, you have served as a director, as a technical director for multiple national football associations. So, and also this year's World Cup is also the most technologically advanced World Cup. So, what has been the standout innovations for you?
For me, innovation is good if it helps football. At the end, football needs to be football. And when you use innovation as a tool, it's perfect. But I think that it can't destroy intuition, because intuition still needs to be there. Spontaneously thinking needs to be there. But I believe that everything can help us what makes football better. But at the end, the emotional side is still there, and that we can't forget, because it's a beautiful sport. You see it all over the world. Even countries, let's say like India, China, who are not at this moment in the World Cup, when I look around here, I'm in China already 1 month, I see that everybody wants to look, and I believe that if we can manage to be in the World Cup within 4 years, I think it will be unbelievable, as I also had a feeling inside Morocco. But I totally support this innovation. I totally support what is going on. I believe in data as a tool. I believe in innovation as a tool. But I also believe that the flexibility in football is going to the player. The player is, for me, always the norm. Everything what you build needs to be around the player, and he needs to take the decisions. And when these decisions are influenced by coaches, parents, everything, then it's okay. Because if a player has to look to a coach, his decision will be always too late. And a coach will be held by data, but at the end, don't forget the pillar of cultural adaptation and emotion. That's also, for me, a very important pillar, but about that we can talk later on.
I mean, that's a very valuable insight. If I can just follow up more closely on the rules, Chris, football is witnessing a change in rules and a reformatting of how refereeing is done for the first time in many years. The referees have all kinds of technical aids at their disposal. The most notable is, of course, VAR. And VAR is then assisted very ably by a number of other innovations which have been added. The ball itself is a microchip these days. You have, like you've been speaking about, Eileen, Lenovo is assisting in offside detection. And yet, despite all that, you still get controversies. You still end matches where, people are talking more about the refereeing decision or a spot decision than about what really happened on the field. So where are we headed? Has the technological side really helped What's your opinion on this, Chris? What would you say?
Yeah, but for me, it's clear. It's about 15, 20 years ago. It was a goal from, I think it was England that crossed the line for about 1 meter.
Versus Germany, Lampard.
Yeah,
South Africa.
So that is impossible for me. But I only also have a problem with this 1 millimeter. I mean, I know that Arsène Wenger, the technical director, together with Steven Martens of FIFA, is busy with that. So I think that all what we use need to be understandable for the people. So we can't lose courage, pressure, mistakes, inspiration. That's all important in football. But for the referee, he also need to feel the game. But when AI or other things are used as a tool to feel the game, I think that's the most important thing. But about 1 millimeter, that's for me a little bit too far. But okay, that's what is happening now. And it's not because you're 30 and more years in football that you don't have to adapt. I have to adapt every day. That's nice on football. You can't say, now I know everything. No. You need to be flexible. You need to be proactive. You need to be... I believe that the human nature, and I believe that young people, they don't want feedback anymore. They want feed forward. And if also a referee can have feedback, feed forward, we can go on. But there is also a limit. We need to keep the balance. As they say in China, there needs to be yin and yang.
All right. So when we talking about the most standout innovations during this time's FIFA World Cup, I mean, if I ask this question to Eileen, I may have the answer, right? So because you are directly in charge of the you mentioned the 3D avatars project. So before let you start, let's our audience have a short video to briefly look how it works and how it looks like. Take a video. So just as the video showed, so this kind of whole technical solutions empowers the semi-automated offsite replay, like make higher level decisions more transparent to officials, to the audiences, to the viewers. So please tell me more about that. So when and how you guys start this initiative, and what's the main challenges?
Okay, sure. So this is a long journey. So when we starting the communication with FIFA, that started from, excuse me, the November of 2024.
Okay.
So yeah, because as Lenovo is a official partners, for technologies, solutions provider, and so we and FIFA discuss many times that what kind of scenarios that can solve their current pain points, or maybe in some level we can upgrade their technical solutions. So FIFA shared with us that during the offside, decisions, and they need more, transparencies and more upgraded solutions can help them in the SIoT, system. Because for the SIoT is one of the core system in VAR. We know VAR has, multiple scenarios, for the referees to take charge during one match. But definitely SIoT is a very important one. So for FIFA, they initiated this SIoT started in Qatar, World Cup in 2022. Yeah, but at that time they just used we call them gray avatar. So what does that mean? That means all the avatars look the same, no any difference from this player and that player. They have the same height, same look, everything is the same, just except their jersey, they wear.
Okay.
So for that kind of models and avatars, still FIFA couldn't solve the pain point. During the offside, especially in some very critical moments,
yes.
If, for example, some player, they are so close to each other, for the referee, it's very hard to identify whether it's onside or offside. So the FIFA raised this kind of ask for Lenovo to ask us whether we can solve that. Then we started the explorations in this area. Then we deliver some we call mock-up during the 2025. So we call the Club World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. So and we Charlotte in one stadium, and we did the data capture, and we deliver some mock-up for FIFA to have a look. Whether we ask them, is this can satisfy your request? They say, oh, looks great. Let's target for the direction to move. Then we spent several months delivered, near close solutions and adopt that in the Intercontinental Cup. So that's happening in Doha in December of 2025. Then we adopt that during the match between Egypt and Brazil teams, the match. So, and from FIFA, they give us very, very positive feedback. They think, oh, this is really amazing. We're really very satisfied with the outcome that you spent several months and deliver this for us. And we are confident we can integrate your solutions into our SIoT system for the 2026 World Cup. Then after that, just several months for us, to deliver, because, for the Doha, the POCs we did for them in the Continental Cup, they're just 2 teams.
Yeah.
But for World Cup, as you mentioned, 48 teams across the 3 countries, 104 games, match. So that's a big scale for us. So that we needed to do a lot of optimizations, for the scanning efficiencies and the very, very flexible operations model and very, very quick for automation for all the avatar generation. So at that time, and our target is to generate about 1,248 players. That's each 48 teams, 26 players for each team. Yeah, for each team. Yeah. So, but actually, for this times World Cup, we scanned and built avatars for 1,263. Because for some teams, they add more players, for the scanning.
Cool.
So, then we just spent about 3 or 4 months. We optimize all the algorithms and to make it full automation, and then we can very quickly deliver 3D reconstructions for each players within very, very short time. So, and before when we started this project, and we need about 3 hours, for each avatars to building with full automation. But after our optimization for the algorithm, and we can achieve to 1 hour, very quick. Then for the scanning moment, as you can see, just 1 second we can finish all the scanning. So, but the most hard part is that we needed to have, because it's a solution of hardware plus software together, we needed to deliver all the scanners in each location, about each team, their team-based camp. So, and also before each match started, we needed to have all the avatar to be ready. But as you know, for each team, their schedule is very tight. They have their everydays, their arrangements, right, for their trainings and their a lot of activities. We needed to work very closely with FIFA local manager to facilitate very well for which day, which time they can give us for the scanning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
a lot of logistics involved.
A lot of operations side of that. So then before that we just give a very good plan for that and identified how many locations team-based camp we needed to the teams we needed to support that, because for the scanning, as you just mentioned, you can see from the video that for each site we at least needed two engineers. One engineer is processing all the software, processing software for the scanning. The other one needed to guide the players how to stand correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when we do the capturing for the 36 images for each player, all the players, they needed to stand very correctly. Because when we build this avatar, they need to expose their very key body part.
Right.
So that means their face, their head, their field, and the body needed to be exposed very well.
You can get the correct avatar for them.
Yes,
Right.
because because we needed to capture about 36 images for each players.
Okay.
All the players needed to stand this way, 30 degrees. All the fingers needed to spread,
spread,
fully.
yeah.
But if they stand this way, couldn't.
Okay.
So we need to have the on-site engineer guide them how to do it very well and can have a one capture successfully. Otherwise, we needed to have them rescan, but that will be time consuming. So very interesting. And but we did a very good training for all the on-site engineers. So that means for all the team-based camp, we assigned about more than 60 engineers on site. Then we also have a centralized technical team to monitor remotely for each site team. When they do the scanning, we just monitor from very beginning to the very end to ensure the first step, we can get a very good quality data for each player. Then after that, we upload all the 36 images to the cloud and use our algorithm to build a 3D reconstruction quickly for each avatar. And for FIFA, they are very, very satisfied with us. For example, today, sometimes we have the peak time. I remember for one day we needed to scan 9 teams. Then means we needed to build about more than 200 avatars one day. So that gives team a very pressure for all the concurrencies building, right? Because we need a very strong GPUs and make our algorithm to running very successfully, smoothly for all this. But overall, we are very successful.
That's amazing because players are superstars. It's not always easy to get them to do whatever you want and to get all their time because obviously, and they have a World Cup to prepare for. So, I mean, I must commend Lenovo's engineers for their achievement and also to the players for the patience because they trusted in the process.
That's also the questions that just came up, like, the big names, like some big names, I didn't mention who, but some big names mentioned that they didn't like the new tech.
Okay.
Right now in the after game interview. So what's the players' reaction when they are doing like a scanning?
Oh, that's
yeah.
we had because as they are in different team-based camp, 48 teams. That means they have 48 team-based camp. For most team-based camp, we just monitor them remotely. So yeah, we viewed all the big stars, their scanning process. I think most players, they are very, very supportive, And for some teams, and we went to on-site to support for Norway. So I had a face-to-face with Helen.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very, very supportive, and because we trained our on-site engineers, so before he went to the scanner, the scanners, and our on-site engineer gave him very professional guidance how to stand there. Then he was very successfully, went into the scanners after capturing just 1 minute, finish everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and also for Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they are all very good, very cooperative.
You're doing a fantastic job as a recruiter for Lenovo, because anyone who's watching this will say, I want to be that engineer who goes to meet Haaland, who goes to meet Messi, who goes to meet Cristiano, so I can take photographs of them from 36 angles and work with them. So I think you've done a tremendous job in being the head recruiter for your company.
And we also monitor them that, Cristiano, Ronald, and we said, okay, please raise your arms a little higher and spread the fingers a little widely, and
Fantastic. I do want to ask you a follow-up. Because you've told us the timeline, you just started in 2024.
Yes.
And you barely had 2 or 3 competitions to test this. You named the Intercontinental Cup, the Club World Cup, and I think a Brazil-Egypt match. So clearly, I think, do you intend to evolve this further? Where do you see this going next? What could you do to take this process even further now that you have got so far?
I think for these times, the World Cup is a milestone for the sport, for the football sports game. Yeah, it's a milestone because only by this time, all the audience and the fans and referees can have judged about offside, because our avatar is, we can see a millimeter accuracy. When, really, each player's avatars. So that gives us very, very accurate judgment, for the referees when they do this offside technology. And I think going further on, when we did the POC in Doha's Intercontinental Cup, and Johannes from FIFA side, and he managing all the FIFA's innovation functions. And he and me, we had a talk about this, because this time we adopted this in offside, but going further beyond of that, I think for all the avatars, we can maybe adopt it in some future e-gamings, why not? Okay. Yeah, so that's, because that can explore more opportunities for this. Not only e-gaming, I think for a lot of entertainment, we can go further for that.
Let's go back to the core. Right? I mean, you mentioned the solutions has been injected into the whole VR system. So how does AI ensure this kind of very precise identification and tracking, especially under the high speed, obstructed, such a complex
environment
movements? How AI can ensure that? Yeah.
That's a technology enable that. Let me maybe describe this way you can understand it better.
Okay.
For when we scan a player, right, we captured his data with the 36 images from different dimensions in the scanner. Then we use our AI models and do the reconstructions, then can develop what we call the raw mesh. Raw mesh is that when he did the scanning, he wear his jersey, right? So we can scan mesh basically, we call the raw mesh, do this. Then after that, we needed to do we call the body segmentation solutions. Then because when we do the offside judgment based on his main body parts, right? The head and the legs and the feet, the shoes, and we needed to do the segmentation algorithm. Also, besides that, we needed to do we call the hair removing algorithm. Okay. Because during offside, I think maybe Chris know more for this, because during the offside, it's not based on your hair offside, based on your bald head.
Okay.
Bald head. Okay. So we needed to develop algorithm to removing all the hair. Okay. For each player.
So if Haaland's ponytail is offside, that shouldn't trigger your sensor.
Correct. Right. So during offside, during each match, we have the referee in the field. We also have a VAR, the referee in the room. For the VAR in the referee room, their view is different from our fans' row in front of the TV. When we do this, they will see all the bald head, all the players look like. We have 2 views. Yeah, so that means when we did, develop the algorithm, we needed to do all this kind of algorithm. Body parts, segmentations, hair removing segmentations, and for this, then after that, we, there's we call the base mesh. We needed to use our algorithm to the reprojection attached to that base mesh. Then we generate the final avatar mesh, we call it. Final avatar mesh. Then for the avatar mesh, that means no matter what kind of jersey you wear during the real game, no matter, because we have developed all your avatars based on your main key body parts. Then during the game, we know that for this year's World Cup, there are about 16 cameras in the stadium, capturing all the moving parts, all the players with about a very important 29 points, skeleton points for each player. Then use that kind of technologies and we integrate with our avatars solution together that it can generate all the real replay for each critical moments when you want to judge offside or onside. So that's a technology integrations.
That's remarkable. That's so much intricacy. And do you think going further you can do it with fewer cameras? Because, to do it for the World Cup is one thing, but ideally you want entire leagues to use it. Is there a way that it can be simplified further so that it can be adopted more ubiquitously?
Yes, a very good insight for that. I think for the moving forward for this technology, because we have two kinds of cameras. One camera is that when we, for example, we use 36 cameras in the scanner, 36 images for you, right? That's one kind of camera. The other camera is in the stadium, 16 cameras to tracking all the real players when they playing the game, right? But in the move forward, we want to, like you mentioned, needed to have favor cameras that can make the adoption much easier, right? Much flexible. So, but that's need very strong AI technologies and to make that happen.
Right.
Because if you have favor cameras, that means favor images, but you still want to generate a very accurate avatar for each one, then need our AI algorithm very, very strong, very powerful. But I know for 3D, 3D technology is moving very fast. Every year, moving very fast. So that means we need to explore continuously for this to optimize, continually.
I want to go back to Chris for this because we're on the topic of the various aids that the referee has. So, Chris, versus say 8 years ago, now the referee has a much easier job. The referee can make a wrong decision and then he has a number of fail safes. You have all these technologies. You have someone in your ear who's telling you, no, come to the screen, take a look at this. You have, the offside assistance. You have the SNICO, which is on the ball itself. And you have all the cameras and, there is so much decision making that is now no longer the referee's responsibility. So where do you think really we are going? Are we heading towards a kind of football setup where you don't have a referee? Could we reach that kind of situation? Or, where the game is totally governed automatedly? Where do you think the future is taking us?
Listen, I heard a few important words. Word number one is what about Bolt? That's why for me it would be very easy to be there. So for the scanning, it wouldn't be a problem. No, that's a small joke. But I heard the word decision making. Decision making was very important. Why? If you look to all the technologies and you put them together, they are there to improve the decision making. But we didn't spoke about the decision making of a player. Decision making of a player is about timing, where to be on the right time. It's about space, where to be on the right timing, and it's about effective technique. So what I heard over here is just the same as decision making for the player. But the player don't have all these tools. But for the referee, it's important to have a decision making that is clear. But the referee will always be there, because if you talk about accuracy, on the other side you have spontaneously. So you need to feel the two ways as a referee, because if you only think about data and decision making, I don't think that you feel the game. And if we stop feeling the game, then football will be lost. Because that's why we are talking about it. So it's all about decision making. And for me, it's decision making crucial, but it cannot destroy intuition. And intuition is a big part of the human being. Don't forget that we are talking about the brain. And the brain is, for me, one of the things we should examine more and more, because the brain is the boss. And decision making for a football player is made in the brain. So it's a tool, but it will never replace the player. It's a tool for the referee, but it will never replace the referee. That I don't believe, because you always have this brain. And this brain is influenced by a lot of other things than only what you see is what you get. That makes the difference. So I've been too long in football to see, okay, bad decisions, good decisions. And I always say, when this is used as a tool, it is perfect to make a decision. But don't forget, the player needs to make 1,000, 100,000 decisions in one moment. And that's what I also want to use in the future. If we can use these tools to make the players better, to make the right decisions, it would be perfect for sure in China, because then I can talk about it for another 2 hours about what we should do in China, but that has nothing to do with data and technology.
You know, Haixiang, what technologies have really impressed you, because there have been so many?
Yes.
What has been your takeaway?
There's so many controversies this time, and the most impressive moment for me, I remember, is the game from round 16,
Right.
Croatia versus Portugal.
Right.
At the final minutes, Croatia has the chance to tie the game, and the decision of the goal or no goal, it depends on the offense player whether touch the ball. But when we saw on the screen, on the television, after the review, we couldn't judge it by our naked eyes.
Right.
But the most interesting thing is that there's a shake of wave showed up. Oh, I mean, that's the chip, that's the heartbeat of the ball. There's a chip inside the ball.
Right.
And there's a shake of the wave, which means the offense player has touched the ball.
Yeah.
So there's no goal. I mean, that's incredible.
You know, how often do you get to see something for the first time? That was the first time I've ever seen that graph, which judges if there has been a touch on the ball at all, and a decision, and a big decision was made basis that, because of which poor Croatia had to go out and Portugal progressed. And so that is the technology I wanted to ask Chris about, because now, Chris, we have reached the stage where the ball is no longer just a ball. The ball is no longer immune from innovation. The ball has become a smart ball. You need to charge it. It has a microchip embedded, and its specific application is that it is allied with certain sensors on the stadium, and so you can detect whenever someone has touched it, and so on and so forth. But so I want to ask you again, where do you think this is heading? Is there a larger consumer application also for this? You think smart balls will become ubiquitous? You think that this is the start of something very big and new and special in football? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, I'm a football animal. So when I was watching this game and afterwards I saw it, my friend is the coach of Portugal. It's Roberto Martinez, because I brought him in Belgium in 2016. So for me, it was nice. It was nice to have, but okay, that's something personal. But I'm thinking on another way. If the ball is a smart ball, we could also use it for training purposes. So how to kick the ball. When I look, for example, to Kevin De Bruyne, when I was there with the national team of Belgium, the way he kicks the ball is very strange. If you look to his feet, they are turning so much that when I spoke with the doctor, he said, it's difficult to do this because normally you had a problem with your ankle. But if we could use this technology, how to kick the ball better for our young human beings, it will bring also a relation with the brain. And I'm also always looking to the relation between the brain, the feet, everything, between the most important parts of the body, what you just explained. So if we could use this technology to make our trainings better, to be more accurate in touching the ball, that could help me. I'm always looking to solutions. And if I see all the technologies, what has been done today in this World Cup, for me, it's a one-piece technology to help football. It's not only about AI, it's not only about the ball, it's not only about VR and everything. It's about this one technology that could help football. And I'm always thinking how to use it. I'm a very practical man. How to use it in our training, because that's the result. What you see now is the result of a process. In China, we sometimes think that result comes before the process. If I hear you saying that you were starting in 2024 and the process was there, the result is amazing. But if you wanted to have the result in the beginning in 2024, you would say it's impossible. 2 years later, it is possible because we have been following a process. And that's the big contradiction in football. Everybody wants to have result before the process. We want that India will come into the World Cup. We want that China will come into the World Cup, but we don't want to follow the process. That means that we have to start when they are 6 years old, 12, and so on. And maybe in 10 years, we will have the first result. If technology could help us to make it shorter, I'm a very happy man. And I don't need too much. I just need integrated in the human being to help human beings to be better, to have more spectators, to make football one passionate game with technology support. That's it. That's my idea.
You know, I was thrilled by when Chris talked about using the smart ball for training, because in my head I was thinking about, long time back, Roberto Carlos curling the ball in the opposite direction, about Beckham taking free kicks that go over the wall and then dip right in time to go down into the goal. And if you can use a smart ball, like he said, to somewhat dissect the magic behind how those players do it, then maybe someone like me on the field also could attempt to take a shot like that, So I think I'm quite intrigued by this possibility where a smart ball can be used for training purposes. I think it has enormous applications, and we are just scratching the surface as far as these smart balls go. Xiaoyan.
Yeah, I will add something because I've been working with a rehab coach already a long time. One of the top in the world. They are using cameras to do rehab. So to know in a rehabilitation system after an injury which muscles we have to work on. And there we also use 16 cameras to see it. So it's not only about the ball. It can help us in a lot of other things as rehabilitation, the right operation, in injury prevention. I know that some companies are fully busy with the quality of the grass to measure it, to have less injuries. So this is all important because the intensity of the game is much higher. If I see the intensity now and 4 years ago, it's totally different. It's all about 1 against 1. Not the big teams now, you will see they all play 1 against 1 because it's mathematic. If you don't do it, one will be free and they will break lines. So in the technology, what we receive from you, we can see the space creation, we can see the recovery runs, we can see the pressing intensity, we can see the building up. This is for me in a wide angle, very important to work with people as a tool. So you see, it's not only about the referee, it's not only about this ball, it's an integrated system that can help us. But what you said is maybe I can kick the ball. It also depends on your muscles, about your joints, it's much more than only kicking the ball. It's an integration, what you did in this way of technology. It's a whole integration. It's the same in football. Don't put it away separate. It's the golden triangle. The golden triangle is talent identification, education, and a good competition. That's it.
All right, Chris, I just want your feeling about how Allen has introduced their project. So that project is like applied on the professional court, on the professional league. But how the new technologies like AI, like the smart ball we just mentioned, applied in your daily training? Like, how was the general application scenario?
First of all, we work with data. For example, for set pieces. Before, we were looking to maybe 200 set pieces. Now, we use the data. We put artificial intelligence inside. We look where you have this, where you have this. But as a coach, I want to be smarter than AI. So if I'm working on a free kick with players, I do something that I never did before. And then AI will discover it afterwards, but I want to be in front of it. So, for example, I remember I was watching Belgium. I don't know against who, but it was a free kick. It was Iran. It was a free kick. And this free kick, they maybe had 300 free kicks from Iran, but they did another one and they almost scored. But because of the offside, it was offside. But you see, so as a coach, you need to be challenged by all these things to find new ways of working. If you see in Paris Saint-Germain, they changed coach, and this coach, he said, no, I don't want these players who are too much ego. I want players that follow my way of playing and they will work for it in a 1-against-1. So it's always a combination, but I heard from my colleague that he had a presentation from Lenovo and he was impressed about it. So now I think we have to work with the people of Lenovo how to integrate this into a training system, because every detail, what leads to result, we need to use it. And that's my way of thinking. Every detail. So if you see the end now of the World Cup, the best teams are there. And then the margin gains will make the decision. This margin gains could be related to data, could be related to the brain, could be related to everything. That's the margin gains. But in, let's say, China or India, we don't need to talk about margin gains. We need to talk about structures, about how to do the competition, how to do this, and this can help us. But it's the difference between the quality of the teams, and the closer they are, the more margin gains you have, and there all the small details can make the difference. But don't forget the process before, as you explained.
Well, very valid. I want to also speak about visualization, because one is the things that you do on the training pitch, but also to build a larger interest in the consumption of the game. It's very important to keep things moving and to keep things viewer friendly. And so, Eileen, you have pioneered with Lenovo this new avatar system of offside visualization, because it's not just the referee, even the people like to see this is why this person was offside. Oh, that part of his leg was beyond every other defending player, and that's why he was offside. At the same time, many would say that football is no longer as accessible as it was. This World Cup had very high ticket prices. I had planned to go, then I had to abandon my plans because I thought it was way too expensive. And so is there a way, or is there something that you are working on, or do you have any ideas by which you can use technology to change the way the game is visualized? Why do we not have VR, for instance? I know I should be able to put on smart goggles and imagine that, here I am, I'm in the stadium, I have the referee's view. So how do you see, technology playing a role in making the game more accessible, making the viewer experience better?
Yeah, you give, that's what exactly we discussed, with FIFA, and for this kind of proposal in the future. Visualization is important. Imagine for World Cup, and we have all the audience. They just sit in a stadium and watch the football game running, and billions of people and sit there in front of TV to watch this. But whether we can have all the audience can immersive experience, right? Immersive experience when they watch football. Imagine even they sit in their living room, in their home, but they can feel that they are sit in a stadium to watch the game, right? So I think from technology perspective, we can make that happen. Yeah, from only for the technology, it can be realized, but that need very strong, very strong, first computing power, right? GPU, because you need to do the simulation, real time, right, for all the whole game. Or maybe you can just wear some glasses, AI glasses, to watch that games. But I think to support this, avatar can be part of that, right? Because for avatars, we call the skeleton binding technologies. And that means can skeleton binding for each players when they do the real game, playings. That can make So that's can maybe like I mentioned the e-gaming part. So I think there are a lot of very potential opportunities to realize all these kind of scenarios. Yeah, with this.
Anything you're working on that you could tell us about?
We are continue exploring every opportunities. Yes, to see whether we can have AI empower more opportunities in the football games.
Right.
Yeah, we have some explorations, and because that's sometimes you need the hardware and software together to make that happen. Yeah. So.
What about you? What about you, Haixian? What do you think?
There's always a debate, like some fans like technology, someone dislike it, including players. Like the moments like Maradona's hand of God,
right,
may never happen in this kind of modern AI age, right? So, I mean, it didn't affect our feeling, our viewing feeling during the game. No matter the decision is opponent after the review, after the replay. There's always a moment, like one moment in the heaven, one moment in the hell. So I mean, it didn't affect the charm of the real game, but the debates will goes on. And
right.
Yeah, how about you?
No, it's remarkable. I'm always for technology. I think that you cannot have these sacred cows always. That so and so will always remain the way it is. And the same is true of football. We love football, but we also want it to explore new frontiers, see how it can evolve. And definitely, I would like football where there are fewer refereeing decisions that lead to outcomes, and the game is indisputable, more fair. I think all the technological aids have helped a lot. But my feeling, and I also wanted to ask Chris about this, is how we can take this further one more step, because you still have controversies. So what are the gaps that FIFA needs to close? Despite all the technology, is the human still the weak link? Is there still a lot of subjectivity involved? So I really want to take that to Chris, and also about how you visualize football and as a spectator sport. What are your views on both of these twin topics?
I have some suggestions and some ideas. When I was in the World Cup in 2018, I was there 1 year before. We discussed with FIFA, and there the first time we were asking for the wide-angle camera. So it's 10 years ago, and we wanted to have a wide-angle camera. It means that we always can see the 22 players. Because when I'm looking to football, I never look to the ball. I always look away from the ball. So when I teach people in football, I say, don't look to the ball, look away from the ball, because that's for me the organization. Around the ball, you have the action. Away from the ball, you have the organization. And it's the organization who will say what the action will be. That's the reality of football. So in 10 years' time, asking a wide-angle camera, I think the next step will be that we have a personalized broadcast for each viewer. It means you can have a wide-angle camera. You want to have this one. But first time I came to China, I was working with some companies to ask the players, to give the players a view, and they are busy with their phone. And let's say I take Cristiano Ronaldo. He is going with the ball, and then he needs to take a decision. But normally we see these decisions from the camera from above. But if we see it from the eyes of Cristiano Ronaldo, we could say, you have three choices. What should he do? What is the best choice? And they can work on it. So what I'm thinking is that we have to look from the view of the player, but that's about training. And then they even can use it on their laptop or whatever and say, I choose A, B, or C, and then we will see what they do. It's also, again, the training of the brain. And like this, I can give you another ideas, but I believe that we have to work together, and that's what FIFA is doing, I'm sure. But on the other hand, you also have these emotional things, and I can say when I was looking to Belgium against the USA, and I knew what happened with the red card, then I think I stopped looking football. So we need to be consistent in what we are saying and what we are doing. And if everything helps to be consistent and to be respectful, I believe in it.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw, Aline, I saw you have something to add just now.
Just to your point that
Yeah.
what technology bring to our fans, what our feeling.
Yeah.
Because before we adopt new technologies, and you mean for all the fans audience, they have big passion, right? And some big applause for some very amazing moments. But after technology adopted that, sometimes somehow it make the fans, the passions needed to be judged by the technology. But from my point and perspective, I think, people always have passion.
Yeah.
Anytime, anywhere in the world. But all this kind of passion, it's meaningful only based on the fairness and the correct judgment.
Yes.
But if it is wrong judge, what about this passion for? So that means all the technology adopt for the World Cup, based on this kind of accuracies and fairness, then all the fans, our passion, our applause are more meaningful. We needed to deserve, all this kind of are deserved. But if it is wrong, those people have fun, but what does it mean for?
Yeah.
I don't know. It has no much meaningful, for the world, because the sports spirit only based on the fairness, and the transparency. So that's my point of view.
You both touched upon it. I mean, he spoke about the red card being overturned for the American player Balogun, and you've spoken about transparency. I think that's very important. Those are human aspects that need to be looked at. Otherwise, the fans need to know that the game that they're watching is sacrosanct, that that they are not being fooled in any way, and that the technology is being used well. So I think they're both very, very valid points, and that's something that maybe the football administrators need to look at.
Yeah, like the advanced, the high tech ensure the absolute justice, and we still need the human feeling, the human emotion.
Yeah.
So my very final question to you guys, to our two distinguished guests, is our topic, is our title of this live stream. Can AI found the next superstar of football? Yes or no? How about Ali?
I think AI can help to predict.
Help. Okay.
Yeah, can help because I think AI because I agree with Chris' points. For technology, never can replace human. Never. But AI can support people, help people to predict, for this, give more near accuracies, 100% accuracy for the assessment for the future. So yeah, somehow AI can help people predict the next star, but it can never be, commitment for 100%. Who will be the next star for that? So that's my answer.
Chris, how about you?
I'm 66 years old, and I use AI every day.
Whoa.
Because I want to be a product of now, not from the past. And I wrote down a sentence that I wrote down before I came to this interview. And I said, the beautiful game does not be to become a perfect game. This is the balance. The beautiful game does not need to become the perfect game. It's like you just judge people. You can say this is a beautiful woman, but she doesn't need to be perfect. This is a beautiful game, but it doesn't need to be perfect. And this margin gains between makes emotion, and emotion makes the game beautiful. But as I say, I use AI every day, and I use it because it's a tool for me to be better, to help me to be better. But it's about the beauty, it's about the human being, as you were saying, and this we don't forget. Even in my garden in Belgium, my Chinese garden, I have a part, and it's yin and yang. And that will always be my balance in life. The balance between the passion for my family and the passion for football. And that is not perfect, but it's beautiful.
All right, great insight.
I also have an input. I think, Haixiang, there are two aspects to this. One is that I never think that AI cannot do something. Okay, because I have learned from experience that there is no point trying to guesstimate what AI cannot do. Just blindly assume that AI will give everything a try going forward. And nowadays, with the amount of data that is available, if you see American sports, if you watch basketball, for instance, they slice and dice data in ways that football is yet to match. Yes. In American sports, you will get data of all kinds of dimensions of their players. So there is a good chance that maybe not from a young age, maybe not like, from under 18, under 21 level, but if a player has already made it into the pro leagues, then AI can help you detect, maybe based on certain data, if it's calibrated well, who is showing good potential. And maybe that player could be picked by the coaches and given more of an opportunity. I think that that is something where AI can possibly play a role, as I see it, in taking things forward. With regards to Chris's very beautiful point about how it's the beautiful game, it needn't be the perfect game, I do think that there is a bit of counterintuitiveness involved there, because I saw photos of David Beckham with the current England players just before their quarter-final match. And I was amazed to see that all of the England players are now taller than David Beckham, and Beckham was pretty tall himself. And so you are reaching at least a stage in football where physicality-wise, players are achieving close to perfection. You don't see many Maradona-sized players anymore. Messi is an outlier. Amad Diallo for Ivory Coast, he's a superstar for Man United, but he doesn't always play. Yeah.
It depends on the position. When I was in Morocco, I said, if we raise up, if we educate goalkeepers and you're less, we can see the growth. And if they're less than 185, we don't do it anymore. So what you just said, it's one of my ideas for China. We are fully busy now to write a red print and to make competences for each player and for each age. What I want to do is to work with people together, because we don't have enough talent identification people inside China to use a camera system to integrate the competences for each player on each age, to work with AI to detect the first detection of players. So what you just said, I'm fully thinking about it, and I hope I can find the right people to help me into this. And then for me, it's important that technology should correct injustice. And that's why you were working on it. It should correct injustice. That's it.
All right. Seems like we have a very insightful, enjoyable afternoon. So before letting you guys go, I want your guys' pitch for this year's championship. Who you got? How about you?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
I predict a fantastic match between England and Argentina. They have tremendous amount of history. And I want to see a match where both teams really badly want to win. And so anything could happen. At the same time, Spain and France bring the technicality. And I do think the French are perhaps the favorite. I think that their three attackers up front, Mbappe, Dembele, and Olise, are at a level that is right now, I don't think the others can match.
How about you, Chris?
For me, before the competition started, I said France is for me number one if they can throw the ego away. Because in some previous World Cups, they had problems with mentality, with ego. And sometimes some things help, like what happened with the coach, it's unbelievable. But you see, it brought the coach and the players together. And I believe that France at this moment is the best team. But you have to know one thing. If this was a competition in about 1 year, I would say France. But because this is a tournament, and a tournament have other rules, you never know what will happen. We saw it before. And as you say, France have amazing players. Why? Because the coaches in France, they don't interfere too much when they are young. They let them play. We don't create robots. They let them play. And that's also one of the things I want to say in China. Let children play. Let them not work. Let them enjoy. And when you enjoy the football, you would join. And if France enjoy the football, they will join. And then I think they will be very, very close. But as I say, in a tournament, you never know. That's why we're all looking to football. And that's why also every technology can help us. But at the end, emotion will always be there, but that's nice.
Okay. How about you, Eileen? Who you got?
It's hard to predict. It's because football game is never. Sometimes it's not always meet the people's expectation for who will win the game at the last.
Or another way, who you support?
Because I think for football are very strong teams. They are all very strong.
Yeah.
Maybe I support because Argentina, they have won the champion, the championship in the past. Maybe this time, England, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
What about you, Haishan?
For me, it's France. I always support France because I have some personal emotion with France because I have ever did an exchange study in France for 2 semesters. So I lived there for 9 months. So I have my personal emotion with.
That's why you have a loyalty towards France.
Yes, kind of loyalty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright.
I don't want to write off Spain either because my enduring memory when I close my eyes is of 2010. The vuvuzelas are blaring and Spain is not giving the ball away to anyone else. So I don't want to write off anyone, but it will be a tremendous contest between the technical individualistic skill of France and the collective ability of Spain. So let's see and let the best team win.
Yeah, let's see. So that's all for this this edition of CGTN BizPodcast. I'm your host Hai Xiang in Beijing, and see you next time. Bye bye.